Howdy, Junior Master Gardeners. We are so glad that you are hopping on with us today. As always, we wait a few minutes for folks to be able to get online. Just showing you a little bit of the maroon and white garden while we're waiting. This is our part of the Texas A&M Leach Teaching Gardens. Really beautiful. Look at all the maroon and white flowers. You know, when you're in Aggie land, our school colors are maroon and white. So we have all sorts of maroon and white plants, both foliage and other plants, blooming plants that are maroon and white. So yeah, if you're on, give us a shout out. Let us know that you're on and where you're watching us from. We'd love to have you tell us about that. Hi, how are you, Jennifer? Hi. Oh goodness, we have Alex from Michigan. Oh, we've got a whole crew in North Carolina. Thanks for joining us. Irene in Wisconsin. It's really beautiful here today. It's kind of cool for us. We actually were in the low 40s this morning, but it's turned out to be a beautiful day. A little bit windy. Hi, Christina. And we've got Jimmy from Tennessee, Pia and Clara from Ithaca, New York. Glad to have you guys joining us. So yeah, we're really excited. Today's session is plant parts that we eat. So you guys should already have, hi Ashley, you should already have your PDF that you've downloaded for plant parts that we eat, and we'll be using that today as Randy gets started with us. So, oh goodness, it says it snowed in Lubbock today. Wow. So for today, oh, there's Randy.
Welcome everybody.
That's awesome.
All right, Junior Master Gardeners, we're glad that you are here. This is our 4th session of our Junior Master Gardener Facebook Live meeting. And remember, if you're part of all 12 of our sessions, at the end of this time, you can earn a Junior Master Gardener certification in plant growth and development. We'll talk about at the end how you can go about doing that. So to begin with, go ahead, if you haven't already started doing this, comment on what city and state you're joining us from.
We have a lot from out of state. North Carolina, we've got
Welcome.
Texas, New York, Wisconsin, Kentucky. A reminder that you can see in the comment section if you want to know more about where to get the activity list and the handouts. It's jmgkids.us/Facebook FB Live. So be watching and go to that if you have more questions. A huge shout out to our JMG national team that is on behind the scenes to answer any questions you have. We have some of our national office as well as several of our state JMG coordinators and some of our Texas A&M AgriLife Extension staff. So we are so thankful for you guys helping us today. Right, and Randy, it looks like you've got a great story for us today.
I've got a story, so come sit down. We're going to read before we get started.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm going to get in here where I can lower the camera to see.
Got me?
Yeah.
Well, so this is a story we're going to share in just a few minutes. And as I said, this is our 4th session, and we've been learning a lot about plants. And we start out by learning about what plants are and why they're important and what they need. Last week we learned about leaves and the jobs they do for plants. And today we're going to be talking about plant parts and plant parts we eat. And I've got a couple of these items, and we're going to talk about these. But before we start, I want to ask you, and you can comment on this, I'll come back to this question later, what part of the plant is this? These are ears of corn, but what part of the plant is it that we eat from these ears of corn? So we'll come back to that.
Okay, so you guys have been
parts.
thinking about that.
So to begin with, before we get started, I wanted to share with you something that's going to be a part of this story, and this is my stalk of corn. If you've never seen a real stalk of corn growing, this shows a lot of our plant parts, starting at the root systems that hold it in place. When the winds blow and it soaks up nutrients and water for the plants, it carries up the stem towards the middle. We've got our leaves in place, and we have our corn that's growing here towards the middle of the plant. And at the top you see these tassels, these corn tassels, and these will be part of the story that you're going to see in just a few minutes. but these are important as well. And this is part of the flower system for the plant. This is what drops off the pollen that helps allow the seed, the corn, to be
One of
produced.
our junior master gardeners says when you eat the corn, you're eating the seeds.
Oh,
Randy.
seeds. So we have one guess that junior master gardener says seeds, and we'll come back to that in just a few minutes. But I think it's probably, Lisa, it's probably a pretty dang good guess. So we'll come back to this in just a few minutes. But let me see, of the people who are on the call, if you have seen this story before, just put a little Y. It would be a Y or N in the comment section, yes or no, if you've read the story before. It's called Tops and Bottoms, and it's the story of a lazy bear and a clever rabbit, or clever hare. So let me see who has seen this story before, because we're going to spend some time talking about this, and I wanted to share it with you really quickly today because it's a good starting point to talk about the parts of the plant parts we eat. So first we begin.
Several Y's, Randy.
A lot of people have seen this before. All these different plant parts, all of these are edible. So the question we'll start off with is, what parts of the plant can we actually eat? And we'll come back to that question at the end as well. This is one of my favorite illustrations on this page because you get to see the top part of the plant where the leaves grow, but you also get to see the underground portion where the roots are growing. Isn't that gorgeous? Great illustrations in this book, Tops and Bottoms by Janet Stevens. Okay, are y'all ready? Once upon a time, there lived a very lazy bear who had lots of money and lots of land. His father had been a hard worker and a smart business bear, and he had been given all of that, but all the bear wanted to do was sleep. But not far from down the road lived a hare, and although Hare was clever, he sometimes got into trouble. He had once owned land too, but now he had nothing, because he had lost all his in a risky bet with the tortoise, and he had sold all his land to the bear to pay off the debt. Hare and his family were in very bad shape. "The children are so hungry, Father. We must think of something," Mrs. Hare cried one day. So Hare and Mrs. Hare put their heads together and cooked up a plan. See all the rabbit babies in the bottom they're taken care of? The next day, Hare hopped down the road to Bear's house. Bear, of course, was asleep. "Hello, Bear. Wake up. It's your neighbor, Hare, and I have an idea." Bear opened one eye and he grunted. "We can be business partners," Hare said. "All we need is this field right here in the front of our house. I'll do the hard work of planting and harvesting, and we can split the profit right down the middle." Bear, "Yes, sir. We're in this together. I'll work and you sleep." Said Bear. "So what will it be, Bear?" asked Hare. "The top half or the bottom half? It's up to you, tops or bottoms." Let's see," said Bear with a yawn. "I'll take the top half. Right. Tops." Hare smiled. "It's a done deal, Bear." Bear was continuing to sleep, wasn't he? So Bear went back to sleep, and the Hare and his family went to work. Hare planted, Mrs. Hare watered, and everyone weeded. You have to do that in your garden sometimes, is take out those weeds. If you have the weeds in the garden, you know what happens is they steal away the water and the nutrients from your plants. So they're doing the hard work while the bear sleeps. The bear slept as the crops grew. When it was time for harvest, Hare called out, "Wake up, Bear. You get the tops and I get the bottoms." Hare and his family dug up the carrots and the radishes and the beets. Hare plucked off all the tops and then tossed them in a pile for Bear and put the bottoms aside for himself. So in this deal, the rabbit, the hare, and his family got all the bottoms, and the bear got all the tops. Which one of those parts is edible? We're going to talk more about that in just a little bit. Bear stared at his pile. "But Hare, all the best parts are in your half." "You chose the tops, Bear," Hare said. "Now, Hare, you tricked me. You plant the field again, and this season I want the bottoms." Hare agreed. "It's a done deal, Bear." Is the bear going to get the good deal this time? Let's see what happens. So Bear, as usual, Bear went back to sleep, and Hare and his family went to work. They planted, watered, and weeded. See Bear at the bottom sleeping again. The hard-working rabbits are on top, and the bear is just sleeping while everyone else is doing the work. And again, Bear slept as the crops grew. When it was time for harvest, the hare called out, "Wake up, Bear! You get the bottoms and I get the tops." So I wonder what they grew this time. Hare and his family gathered at the lettuce, the broccoli, the celery. Hare pulled off the bottoms for Bear and put the tops in his own pile. Look, Bear's asleep, but he's got one eye just starting to open up. I think he's getting a sense of what's about to happen. Bear looked at his pile and he scowled. Hare, you cheated me again. But Bear, Hare said, you wanted the bottoms this time. Bear growled. You plant this field again, Hare. You've tricked me twice, and you owe me one season of both the tops and the bottoms. You're right, poor old Bear, sighed the Hare. It's only fair that you get both the tops and the bottoms this time. It's a done deal. What's gonna happen this time? Well, the Bear went back to sleep, right? So Bear went back to sleep, and the Hare and his family went to work. They planted, they watered, and they weeded, and they watered and weeded some more. So I wonder what they grew this time. Bear slept as the crops grew, and when it was time for the harvest, Hare called out, "Wake up, Bear! This time you get the tops and the bottoms." There in front of Bear's house lay high a field of corn. Hare and his family yanked up every corn stalk. Hare tugged off the roots, the bottoms, and the tassels at the top, and he put them in a pile for Bear. Then he carefully collected the ears of the corn in the middle and placed them in his own pile. Bear rubbed his eyes and he watched. See, Bear, you get the tops and the bottoms. I get the middle. Yes, sir, Bear. It's a done deal. Is Bear gonna be angry this time? What's Bear gonna do now? Tops, bottoms, and middles. By now, Bear was wide awake. That's it, Hare, he hollered. From now on, I'll plant my own crops. Take the tops and the bottoms and the middles. Hare and his family scooped up the corn and they hopped down the road toward home. Bear never again slept through a season of planting and harvesting. Hare bought back his land with a profit from his crops, and he and Mrs. Hare opened a vegetable stand. And although Hare and Bear learned to live happily as neighbors, they never again became business partners. The end. Okay, so we asked the question of what parts of the plant are edible. We also asked the question of what part of the plant do we eat here. So we're going to talk about that as we go back inside. So one of the supplies that you had was to print out a copy of the Plant Parts web page and have a pair of scissors and glue. So you're going to need that in just a minute. If you want to get a head start, start cutting away those tabs that are different parts of the plants as vegetables that are listed on that page, and follow me back inside.
Okay.
That is probably one of our favorite stories in Junior Master
Lots of
Gardener.
people are talking about how much they love the story. It's pretty funny.
All right, we'll get adjusted to the lighting in here, Lisa. And just real quickly, zoom in on our Plant Parts webpage so they know what page we're talking about. That's the page they haven't already printed off. That's what we have them print off so they can help them do this activity with us. If not, we'll do this together and they can print that off afterwards. And then we can talk about it and they can do that. Maybe it's part of their homework, Lisa.
Okay. Let's see that.
So now it's time for us to get to work. So what we did on our board is we made the same chart on that page that's listed here. And we talked about the different parts of the plants. We have the roots and stems and leaves and flowers, fruits, and seeds. So one of the questions is what do each parts of these plants
One person
do?
asked, what parts do we cut out, Randy?
Ooh, what parts do we cut out? Well, really, we're going to cut out a lot of them, and in some cases, all of them. And that helps answer the question of what we're going to, when we're talking about our page, I'm sorry. On this page, if you can cut out these tags here, if I was doing that, I'd cut a line across the middle here, and then cut out each one of those rectangles. Because that's what we're going to talk about today, and I'm going to show you a picture of most of those on our whiteboard also.
So try to cut out all those different vegetables. See where it says corn and radishes and sunflower seeds. Excellent. Shelley Mitchell said this works good with the Velcro too.
Velcro
with
works
dots
good.
on one side.
Shelley from Oklahoma State University Extension, we're glad you're here. And was it also Ashley from Kentucky, University of Kentucky Extension is on the call? Welcome. We're glad you guys are here helping us. We appreciate you. Shelley, one of the things we figured out on our magnet board is the same type of idea. The Velcro works, the magnet works, makes this easier for us. So let's talk about this. The question was, what part of the plant do we eat from the corn? And one of our junior master gardeners said seed earlier on, right? So all we're going to do is take your tag and we're going to glue it down on next to one of the lines that says seeds on your chart. So for me, since I'm a visual person, we're going to take our corn and we're going to just slide it here and attach it to one of those lines, okay? Move to this one. What else do we see on our chart page that you have, or the pictures I have here, that could be another example of seeds? Well, I'm going to do one for you. Either help me guess one more. I'm going to slide this over here. I wonder if anybody knows what this is, because this is kind of a cool plant, and when we eat it, it usually doesn't look like this, because when we eat this, we take these seeds at the top after they've dried, and we grind them. When we grind them together, it makes kind of a white powder that we know as flour. So that's also a seed that we eat. So what else is on my chart? Can anybody quickly give me an answer of what else is a seed that's on this chart?
What else? Look on here, all of them that Randy had.
And this is a pretty easy one compared to some of the others because it actually has a seed in the name, and it is the sunflower seeds. And I'm going to slide this over here to this mark too. So if we look at the list of the items on your tags, on your Plant Parts webpage, we have corn listed there, and seeds, which these are sunflower seeds, and wheat that are all part of the seeds that we eat. Okay. So after we plant the seeds, usually the first thing that starts growing in a real plant is the roots. So what are some of the roots that we saw in the story? Well, probably the favorite one I saw to begin with was the carrots. That was in our cross section at the very beginning.
How many of you like carrots? Give us a thumbs up if you like carrots.
Carrots are in the ground. They're a root. They're a taproot that grows down. It soaks up water. It soaks up nutrients for the plant to carry it up to the stem and the leaves, the rest of the plant parts. So what else do we have on our chart? Well, you may not have seen this one before, but one of the items on your chart is beets. So this is a beet, and it looks like a root crop. You can see the root shape, but it's kind of round at the bottom, the leaves coming out of the top. And then one more, that's a smaller version of that, is radishes. So has anybody ever grown radishes before? If you've never tried radishes, for a big part of our country, this is really a time to be able to grow and plant radishes.
Hey, Randy, one of the junior master gardeners says he likes carrots, but only when they're cooked. And that's a good point. Sometimes we have to try them prepared different ways. Sometimes we might like them fresh or cooked, or maybe...
My favorite way to eat carrots is in stew. So I'm the same way as this junior master gardener.
Okay. And Shelley Mitchell said carrots come in lots of different colors too.
Right.
So you might find that at the store where they come in different colors
Red
besides
and maroon
orange.
and yellow and purple we've seen. That's right. And it shows sometimes there's different nutrients in when they have those different bright and darker colors also. One thing we'll share with them, Lisa, is radishes are very special. Of all the crops that are here, it grows super quickly. So if you plant radish seed in your garden, within a week it will start growing, and within about 4 or 5 weeks you'll be able to harvest those radishes.
Shelley said
also.
they can harvest radishes in 3 weeks.
Oh wow, there's a little bit of bragging going on in Oklahoma. That's great. That's great. Okay, let's look at our chart. Let's look at your tags. So the next thing we're going to focus on is the stems. The stem's job is to hold the plant up and carry the water and the nutrients and the food from the leaves. Which one of these items do we eat are from stems? Well, a lot of people have had this before, and it's a little bit easier because it's in the shape of a stem. We can see the leaves attached. What is this? Before I say it, I want to see if somebody can comment. Give them a few seconds to comment of what this one is. While they're doing that, Lisa, we're going to add this too. This is asparagus. And asparagus is kind of cool because we eat the stems and also the little tops, the flowers that are about to pop out. But the main part of the asparagus that we eat, that we enjoy, is the stem. So has anybody told me what this one is yet? It's one item that's on your plant tags also.
If you like stuffing or dressing at Thanksgiving, a lot of times it has that vegetable in it.
It's green.
Oh, Jennifer said celery.
Jennifer got it. Good job, Jennifer. So this is celery, and the main part that we eat from a celery plant is also the stems. These are pretty easy because these look like what they are when we actually eat them. We'll scoot these down. There's a couple of different leaves that are on your plate. These are spinach leaves, baby spinach leaves, but also we see lettuce that's on our chart as well, and those are delicious. And you can eat spinach, of course, raw, or it can be cooked. It can be something else too. My favorite on this list, to be honest, is this. And what is this? That is broccoli. And people say that doesn't look like a flower. And the reason is, and again, we do eat the stems of the broccoli, but the main portion that we pay attention to as we're eating, that we think about, that we focus on, is this portion at the top. And Lisa, zoom into this picture for us also. That's what a broccoli plant typically looks like, and we usually will pick it about that stage. But if junior master gardeners, if you are growing broccoli in your garden and you let it grow a little bit longer than that, what it starts to do is those flowers start to open up, and it will make yellow little flowers, yellow broccoli flowers like that. And those flowers will then start producing seed for the plant. So if you're ever growing broccoli in a garden, it's always good to let one broccoli plant go all the way to become flowers, just like that, and grow seed. And then sometimes they'll actually grow volunteer broccoli the next season around from that seed. So on your chart, broccoli is one of the items, the flower that we eat, but also cauliflower is another example of flowers that we eat. Okay, so we're left, and our chart's a little bit easier now because there's not very many items that are left on our chart list. And these also match what's on your chart. That's the pages of the links, of the tags that you cut out. So this is also a vegetable that I love. And people are asking, if this is a vegetable, why are we adding it to the fruit section? Well, the fruit really is anything that grows from a flower and holds the seeds is called the fruit of the plant. And even though this is a vegetable, botanically speaking, scientists call this the fruit of the plant. And there are seeds inside that bell pepper. So is there anybody that's on our Facebook Live group meeting right now that eats bell peppers? Because we don't usually have as many kids that are the elementary age kids that like bell peppers. So I'm curious if they do.
Okay,
because some people think peppers are so hot to eat. And these are not the hot kind of peppers, right? These are the sweet kind of peppers.
Somebody was asking about the broccoli flowers. That is called bolting, okay? B-O-L-T-I-N-G. So when plants go to flower in our vegetable garden, like broccoli or lettuce or things like that, a lot of our cool season vegetables, once they form the flowers, it's called bolting. And we usually are eating them before that point, okay?
That's a good point, bolting. And here's a question, Lisa. Can you actually eat those flowers? When they start flowering, when they're yellow like that, are they edible?
You could, however, the quality is usually better if you eat them beforehand. Okay. Somebody says they love the bell pepper, especially red bell peppers.
Because they sometimes are sweeter when they're colored like that. The other one we'll add is this one. A nice tomato is the fruit of the plant. It comes from a flower and it produces seed inside as well. And this is probably one that most of our junior master gardeners love as well, and this is of course watermelon. And this is a cross section, so you see seeds that are growing there too. So all the parts of the plants are listed here, and these seeds we would plant and then start this process over again to be able to grow some new plant parts. So there are some things that we eat and some things that we don't eat. So one of our first questions was, what parts of the plant are edible? And so the answer is really all parts of the plants are edible across different types of plants. So usually not all parts are edible on the same plant, but across all the spectrum of plants you get, a lot of them are going to be ones you can eat and enjoy, and our bodies get a lot of benefit from that to help us to live and to grow. So here's what we're asking our junior master gardeners to do. Show them our chart one more time they started working on. If you've worked on this as we've been talking, that's great. If you haven't done it yet, we'd love for you to print one out, and we want you to share it, because part of your job as a junior master gardener is to share with others what you have learned, and one of the ways you do that is sharing with social media. Since our large national JMG group that you're a part of is coming together and meeting, that's the way we can share with other people that are not in our homes. And so we want to see your work. So if you will, take a picture of your work and share the hashtag on your social media as well. So our hashtags we're using for our whole series is JMG Kids FB Live. And then for this week, it's special, the JMG Plant Parts We Eat. So if you have your parents share on their social media, on their Facebook or other social media, and use those hashtags, it helps us to know that you are out there working, helps other people learn.
And just like Randy did, he's got a lot of pictures here. Some of you may look on your computers at home and be able to print off actual pictures of corn or carrots or beets, or you might have magazines that are at your house where you could cut those out and glue it, so you could really make your display really colorful that way and show real examples of different plant parts we eat.
So your challenge in your Master Gardeners is to share what you know with others and post your work. So we are glad you're a part of this group. If you want to be a part of the official group that's signed up online, if you go to the JMG Kids website, jmgkids.us/FB Live, there's a form there that your parents can sign you up. When this is completed, you'll have a chance to earn your certification there. And if you haven't been to the website yet, that's also the location that we will get some of the images that you share on social media, and we'll take those and post those on our website to feature some of the great work that our Junior Master Gardeners are doing. All right, Lisa, they've done a good job. We've worked them hard today. They've done some great work for us. So we'll see them again this coming Thursday. We'll be here at 1 o'clock Central Time as well to get your supplies ready for that. If you go to that same web address, those supplies are listed there to get you ready for the next session. So thank you, and we'll see you next time.